And good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening, wherever you may be around the world. Thank you for joining us for another installment of Passion Fridays. And I'm Marcus Holmes, the HR Passion Guy. Why don't you take a moment to drop in the comments whether you are watching on LinkedIn Live, on Facebook Live, Twitch TV, or YouTube events. Just drop where you are around the world and what's the temperature like where you are. I'm on the northwest side of Detroit, and I'm hoping that the temperature's going up, but it doesn't look like it is right now. It's about 32 degrees, and I'm looking forward to spring. I don't know where you are, but share what the weather's like where you are in your city, and send me some back this way to the northwest side of Detroit. I'm excited to be here today on this installment of Passion Fridays. You know, we always bring you passionate people who are sitting in the center of their passion and who are achieving great purpose in the world. And I have just the person who is doing exactly that. Listen, are you tired of slaving away at a 9-to-5 job where you feel underpaid or underappreciated and experiencing the imposter syndrome? Are you struggling and tired of watching everybody else pass you up on the promotion track? Well, I've got someone who broke through the glass ceiling and got promoted 6 times in 4.5 years. Did you hear that? 6 times in 4.5 years. Received a $20,000 raise in 30 days when they said there was no money. Don't they always say that? Give me a like or share a love if they tell you that there's no money. And had a position created just for him. And he wants to help you break through your own glass ceiling and live in the kind of passion that you deserve to give our world. Our world needs you right in the position that you should be in, giving your very best. And so I am excited to have Dwayne Bennett here with us. He is an author of the book From Worry to Winning. He's a career transformation coach. He's a founding member of the John Maxwell team, the certified leadership expert and coach and creator of the Worry to Winning solution. I'm excited to have him here, and you should click share so that you can invite other people to get some of this great coaching expertise and experience from our guest, Dwayne Bennett. Thank you, Dwayne, for joining us.
Hey, I'm so glad to be here. After that introduction, I'm like, I want to hear that guy. Who is that? I wanted to say him.
I'm so excited to have you here. I love your energy. I love even in the way that you've corresponded with me. I just so appreciate that. And your work that you do is needed because especially in the African American diaspora, maybe there are people who really don't stand in their truth of understanding that they can push forward and achieve great opportunities. So tell us a little bit more about yourself. Of course, I admiring the interesting art, and if you can share that story in there, that'd be great. Tell us more about Dwayne Bennett.
Well, I want to thank HR Passion Guy for inviting me here. He's talked about great things that I'm doing or attempting to do, but he's right here with me. He's right here doing this work. He's right here pushing the vision. And look, he's living in his passion. Do you hear it in what he's talking about? So I want to just thank him for the opportunity to share, not only from the standpoint of interviewing me, but us being in this space with Black professionals and helping push the vision there. So I just want to thank you for allowing me this time to speak through some things and talk through some things. And you mentioned the artwork. I was so fortunate that my church, Mount Gilead Full Gospel International Ministries, we have a mission that we go around the world. Right. And I was one of the ones that was picked, my wife and I, to go to Cuba, right, to be able to not only share the gospel, but here we go, but to share leadership principles to our Black and brown brothers in Cuba that look just like us. So it's all in what we're doing together for not only here, but a bigger global vision. And that's what I got the painting. And I was was talking to Mr. Marcus earlier. My wife, she well, we stopped from the beginning. We was there for I think 10 days, and they have a marketplace, one of the biggest marketplaces I've ever been, selling goods. And I went there probably 3 or 4 days. And when I first saw that, the guy gave me a price. I said no. Came back the next day, he gave me a price. I said no. Came back the last day. I said, look, man, I'm going to leave today. What you gonna do? He gave me the price that I wanted. I negotiated down, and I got another piece. And my wife, after I turned to her and got it, walked away, she said, I can't believe you got that piece for that low price from that man. Right? So she shamed me about my negotiation skills
Mm-hmm.
of getting what I wanted. And that's
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that we have to look at in terms of stepping into our power, stepping into what we know our worth is, and stepping into what we know works for us as a Black career professional is in this area of negotiation. You have to know where you stand. And you can't come faking it, right? You have to have some type of background, some type of resume, some projects completed, some things that you can put on the table and say, this is what my worth is. Just can't say it. You have to show it to them. So just bringing that in and bringing that with it, that just was my negotiation skills I was using at that time. And I think it's a great thing that we can do in the marketplace of business and career. Know our worth. Don't always be so anxious about I got to get it now, but you got to bring some real things to the table in order that people will listen to you, and then hopefully you'll be able to get the money that you deserve.
Yeah, I love that because as I was sharing with you just before we went live, oftentimes people are afraid to advance that, I want more, or I think I bring more value to the organization. No one is going to pay you but yourself what you're worth,
Right.
right? But you're going to bring more value to the organization than what they put the price tag on, and people
Like that,
shy
yeah.
away from that. I was just telling my niece, I said, no, don't shy away from that. Go in your mind with a dollar amount that you want, and
There
you
you go.
might start lower but negotiate up to that point and say, hey, this is where I could see this in the market, or this is where I see my value. What would
Yeah.
you say to professionals that feel like they're afraid to ask for a different amount than what they've been offered via promotion or via new position?
Well, the first thing is, and I've learned this, I didn't know this at first, but I learned this over my career, and I've learned it talking to other career-minded professionals and other HR people like yourself in the space now. People push back on this, and you can help me out with this. The time to get the best deal you can get is when you get ready to go in the door. That's the time to get everything that you can get at that particular time. And one of the biggest things, when I did a summit, a Black Careers Matter summit, I was talking to a guy that works in benefits. He says, get your benefits in place. Sometimes take more benefits and maybe even less money, because when you look at the cost of benefits, sometimes their value is higher than the $1,500 or $2,000 value that you want. So in terms of negotiating, to me, the best time to get more bang for the buck is when you get ready to come in the door, when they make the offer. And here you go. You got to do some research before you get to the table to determine what that job is worth. What that job is worth. And I'll give you a story for myself personally. I was offered a position. Now this freaks me out when I say it. And when I tell you, I was offered a position, and I was going to ask for, I was going to ask for $20,000 less than they were going to pay me.
Wow.
And the only reason I found out that I should increase the amount that I should get was I did some research. I talked to some people, and I found out, man, you way low. And then I came in about 15,000 higher than I thought they would pay. And then I hit that number that the research and the people told me. So when you're coming in for the money, got to do your research. Talk to some people if you can within the industry. Talk to some people within the company if you can. Go to the job boards, and a lot of times they have the salary ranges in there. And then determine where do you fall honestly and authentically within that salary range. I think we make a mistake sometimes. If you got a salary range, we'll say, hey, let's do some good numbers. I want my people to make some money. If you're in a salary range of 75 to 110,000, if you're not worth 110,000, then be honest with yourself. So when you have a conversation with the HR person, the director, or the manager, you can hit the number. But if sometimes you're way out there too far or way too low, you'll never hit the number. So I did not know until I did my research what I should have got. I did my research. I talked to people. I got the number. way more than I thought I should have been going for, and more than I thought that here we go. I was worth because I didn't know my self-worth. That's why I was going so low. So we got to figure out self-worth in this negotiation. And then the other part to that, when you get there at the table, you've done your research, you got your degrees, you got your certificates, you've talked to people, then this is the key. Don't be afraid to ask for more. HR people, he'll back on this. They always have more. I didn't know that. They always have more. If they offer you 70, they probably got 80. They offer you 70, they probably got 80 at least. And then a benchmark I've learned, and help you out with this if you will, Mark, is that if you move from job to job, I always get this question, well, how much should I ask for? The research and HR people I'm talking about talk to say at least 20, don't leave unless you're going to get 20% more than what you're making now. Is that a good number, Mark?
I think it's good unless you're going to switch fields, right? If you're going to switch fields, or if what you said earlier, for me, when I first went to the city, it was the benefits that was attracted to me because there was zero contribution at that time.
Oh, okay.
Zero contribution to any of the benefits at that time. Right. It's not that way today, but back then there was no out-of-pocket cost for medical, dental, vision, life insurance. All of that was included. Wow. So I had to consider that when I was thinking about salary. I said, yeah, but I'm not paying anything. I can go get, anything that I need from a benefit standpoint and wellness initiative standpoint, zero cost. So you got to kind of factor that part in. But I agree with you. 20% is a good number if you're going to be in the same industry and you're looking to move around to another organization in that industry. Yeah.
Good. And see, what you just heard, that's worth money. That to know, hey, I need to go at least for 20%. So we just gave you a real piece of content, a real piece of advice, that you can use today. So if you're negotiating your salary today, we got HR, he's doing it now. Say, hey, here we go to factors, benefits, the amount of money you want, vacation time. You may want to give up a couple of dollars to get another week because your well-being is just as important as everything else.
Yes.
Can you get a gym membership? Will they pay for your cell phone? Are they going to pay you for mileage? I think we're in a mindset, all we see sometimes, all we know is dollars. Yeah. So if they give us the dollars, we think a win when they give us the 70,000 that we want, but we left 15, 20 on the table because we didn't get the benefits, we didn't get the vacation time, we didn't get the dental, like you said, we didn't get the gym, the cell phone. We leave a lot of money on the table when we don't think about the bigger picture other than money when it comes to salary, when it comes to negotiations.
Yeah. I'm talking to Dwayne Bennett, and for those of you that have joined us, he is a career transformation coach. I see Craig Turner, who's joined us on Facebook. He is also a career coach at the University of Toledo. Thank you, Craig, for joining us. Yes. I see Tim, God is my hero, Jones has joined us. We've got Pastorine Udoakpan, who is from Nigeria. He's one of the young men. He has this big dream. I'm going to connect you to him, Dwayne. He's got a big dream that he wants to do over there.
Let's do it.
Craig has said benefits is key. I agree with that. It is key. Cree Baker has joined us. Best advice I've ever received when asked by the recruiter. So what was your last salary? My response, irrelevant. What is this job worth? Yeah. You might say that, Simone. I think you can finesse it a little bit. You might say, what I really like to find out is, what do you think the value is in the market for this position? Because what I've kind of researched and found out is take the ball off you. You don't need to get into the salary crunch with them, but you do want to put the ball back on them and say, hey, what I really think we should discuss is, what's the valuation for this job in the market? Because I looked at a couple of your competitors, and here's what the value is for this job. You want to kind of go there.
Yeah. I love that. And I love the fact that you got to understand you're the driver of your own success or where you're going to be. So don't be passive. And again, I've learned these things. I was passive in my job search, in my job negotiation and things. All I wanted was, hey, they offered me the job. I'm so happy to get a job, right? And they offered me the money, and I took it. Very passive. When I found out over the years, working at different places, doing research, now I'm on the other side where I go into companies and I'm teaching personal development. I'm teaching skills of communication. I'm teaching leadership. That's the number one skill they look for, y'all. Got to get you some leadership skills. They got to have that, how to manage a team, and found out that they look for the confidence. That's a person they're looking for. A person's confidence. They're looking for a person that asks the question. If you don't ask them anything in this interview, you're probably not going to get the job. Yeah. Because what you're saying to them is, I haven't researched this enough to even know the question I should ask. Right.
Right.
So you got to at least, let me tell you, have at least one question, probably have 2 or 3 in different areas, and then show some knowledge of, I know about the company. Yeah. And you can ask this question, but even I was talking to a couple of recruiters probably within the last month. And this is one of the things is, it sounds simple, and probably our listeners and our viewers may know it, but they like, if you don't put the name and the company or the job that you're applying for in the cover letter, they act like they're like you don't even exist to them, because you haven't made it specific enough for them to know that you want this job, as opposed to you generally trying to get something that you haven't researched. Simple stuff like that, y'all. We got to pick up on and take it up in terms of our job search and how to my whole thing is positioning yourself to win. How can you position yourself in this marketplace, in this economy, and in the time that we're in?
I want to this is all great stuff. And I know that you all are going to be following him on LinkedIn to get your own session. We'll help you out.
I'm ready for you.
But I want to double back, because you said something about leadership. And I was listening to the Maxwell moment, I think, earlier today. And one of the things he was talking about is leadership 101 basically is relationships. It's cultivating relationships so you can have influence on people and relationships. Now, you're a certified leadership expert and coach. Talk to us a little bit about how, because I talked about the 30, 60, 90 days, and we talked a little bit about networking. How do you command influence in the relationships that you're building that are new? So I'm just meeting you. How do I command my influence to get out of the relationship what I want, knowing that I need to give value to it, but how do I get out of it what I want by influencing?
You hit the answer in the question. And one great thing that you mentioned, this is so awesome. We didn't set this up, y'all. And I don't know if you read in my bio, but I'm a certified leadership coach with John Maxwell. I don't know if you know that. So you're right up at my alley. And the reason is, again, we never, and I'm talking to, are we talking to Black career professionals? Is that who we're talking to?
We have a number of them. I mean, there will be other people that will watch, but yes, okay. Mostly that's who's watching.
Okay. All right. Now, in professionals in general, right, and specifically, and when I say specifically for us is when HR guy talks about your passion, I never heard when I was growing up or going to school that we can pursue a job, a career that aligns with who we are. Mm-hmm. So when he talks about your passion, your purpose, you can pursue a job, especially these days in this global economy, that aligns with who you are. Mm-hmm. So first you got to do some internal soul searching to find out who you are. And then once you find out who you are, then try to pursue an industry or a job that aligns with that. And that'll make everybody happy. That makes you happy. That makes the company happy because you're glad to be there. That makes your pocket happy because you get the money that go along with it. That makes everything happy. And the reason why I start with yourself and the purpose of this show and the alignment is because I said when I was growing up and going to school, I never knew it was choices that I could get a job that aligned with who I thought I was. That's a new concept for me. And it may be a new concept for us. Other people, they always was working all these different jobs, but all I heard was go to business school and you get a business degree. That's all I heard. Everybody I knew. Is that what you heard, man?
Yep.
But I didn't know it was all these other occupations now. And now we're in this global economy. So if you start with working on your passion, who you are, and then, and I always tell people, write your own job description. Oh man, somebody write that down. Write your own job description. Then go find the job that aligns with your job description. Write your own job description. Then go find a job that aligns with that. That makes it easier for you, and that makes it easier for the company. All right. And then when you get into the company, getting back to the question, how do you use your influence? How do you use your leadership? The answer was in the question is first, here we go, seek to give, right? First, seek to give, always seek to give. So when you're in the once you get the job and you're in your unit, all right, talk to your manager. Here we go. What's the expectations? One, but how can I add to this unit, this team, this organization, this company? Find that out first. Seek to give, right? And let me give you a caveat, because they just gave you a job. They just gave you the money. They just gave you the benefits. So you ain't got to worry about that right now. You're winning. So to search your influence now, it's time for you to do a give. What can I give to this company? What can I give to this unit? What can I give to my team? What can I give beyond, here we go, the job description? I'll give you another set. I had to learn hard way, y'all. I was my manager when I was in corporate America at a particular company. Manager pulled me aside. I'm not gonna call his name. He said, "Hey, Dwayne, let's go get a cup of coffee." I'm a young buck, mid-20s, low 20. I'm like, I don't drink coffee. I don't need to go get no coffee. He looked me straight in the eye. He said, "Dwayne, let's go get a cup of coffee." I know he was serious. We left, went into the break room, and here we go. It wasn't about the coffee. It was about him pulling me and saying to me, "Here we go. You don't do anything outside of your job description. You don't go to any of the social events. You don't do any of the volunteer training. So here we go. Nobody sees you. Nobody's hearing you. And you're not doing anything beyond, right, your job." So what was I not doing? I was not giving. I was not giving. So he was teaching me how to exert my influence by giving, by being involved in that community service aspect, by being involved in going to the meeting and ask a question. Because I'm smart, right? You are too. I was. I mean, I just graduated. He said, "You got all, you say you look good." I love that comment. You're very professional. You outdress everybody. He said, "You do your work great." He said, "You got everything other than the fact that you're not connecting with the company to give more beyond your job description so that you can add more value to your unit, to your team, to your manager, so you get there." So the question was, how do you exert your influence? How do you show your leadership? First, thinking about give, right? And then one of our thought leaders, Stephen Covey, in chapter 2, he said, first seek to understand, then to be understood. Understand what this my coworker needs. Understand what the unit needs. Understand what the department needs. Understand what my manager needs. Then seek to be understood. How? Here we go. And the understood part is now I can use my unique skill sets. What they don't know, right? They don't know to bring them out. Now I can give these unique skill sets to these areas of weakness, or these areas lack in the company. Now I can add value.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And I love also that you talked about, because he was kind of doing the role of mentors. I want to ask you a bit about that, because for some professionals, they don't see themselves in the C-suite. So they don't really see that mentor at that level. How do you connect with people and say, "Hey, I want you to be my mentor"? Or people who have a wealth of experience, what's the accountability for them saying to the ones that are coming behind them, as you characterize yourself being the young buck? "Okay, I'm gonna pull up a young buck. Everyone get one. Each one teach one." I heard Valerie Colbert-Osunwadi say one time. So how do we, create that environment where we can ask for that mentorship?
All right. A couple of words you're going to hear me say over and over. And this is the big thing, and I help a lot of people with this. And I remember I was working with a young lady, and I was coaching her, and she was at Bank of America, I won't say her name. And then about 2 months in, we on the phone, she's crying. And I'm like, "Why are you crying?" She said, "Because the things that you taught me, they're working." And she said, "But now, because I'm growing beyond my unit, I'm growing beyond my people. And sometimes I feel isolated. And sometimes I feel like I'm not a part of my friends, that group anymore that I went to." Because what was she doing? She was growing, right? She was getting better. She was being recognized. But this is the word I want you to focus on. She was being intentional about her career development. And I think sometimes if we're not intentional about our career development, have a strategy, have some goals, have some aspirations, have some dreams, then we're out there bouncing around frustrated, right? Upset because things are happening. And here we go. In terms of the mentor, in terms of getting there, you have to go get that. And I'm telling you this, as a leader, you can lead, yourself. You can lead on the same level of people, but you can also lead up, the 360-degree leader.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that lead into our mentorship? The mentorship key is this. You have to be prepared to bring something to the table before you ask. So if you're going to go ask someone to mentor you, that person usually is on a higher level.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
Their time can't be wasted. Their time can't be taken up, because when that time is taken away, they can't give it back.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go, be intentional about specifically how you want that mentor to help you.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go say, well, I want to make more money. What does that mean? You can say to them, hey, within the company, there's I see there's a scale of, we'll say again, I want us to make all the money. I'm using high numbers today. There's a scale of $100,000 to $125,000 for this job. I'm making 110. Are there some things I can do to increase my value to the company to get to 125?
Mm-hmm.
And you see how specific that is? Mm-hmm. That one conversation, he can give you 2 or 3 things right then, because you're very specific. You have a specific goal, and you're placing him in a place that he can help you right then. Not that we have to have 15 sessions, not that we have to have 3 or 4 months. And then now he can decide how much time he wants to put into you to help you get there. He may say, you know what? To get to that 110, 115,000, we're gonna need to talk a couple of times, but do this, and do this. But this is the key. You gotta do what he tells you to do, because that's a test. If you go in, you go a secret. Most of the time, if you're dealing with a mentor, they're gonna give you a test. A lot of times they may say, go read the book. And then the next time you talk to them, they're gonna ask you a question about the book. If you haven't read the book, if you haven't gotten to the end of a couple of chapters, I'm telling you, they're not going further, because they gave you a specific instruction. They're giving you the test and see, is it worth my time? And then if you haven't done it, what you're saying to them is, you're wasting my time.
Yeah.
I
think that's great. And I think also, because I know you have been in situations where you created the position, that mentor could also help you craft something where you say, I want to get to that 125, but there's also a vacant spot that I think I could save the company money by automating part of that and adding part of that to my responsibility. So now you just created a new position and saved the company some money. So that's an opportunity as well, would you say?
100%. Yeah, it's always, and this is the thing, we talk about creating opportunities. I'm telling you, there's always opportunities in corporate America. You just got to look for them and be intentional. I had a HR rep that I was working with. She was a part of my summit, and she was saying when she was in a position of being trained, the trainer, she noticed all the time fumbling with papers. They came in there sometimes a little late. They did not know how to work the technology that was there. So after she noticed that a couple of times, she got there early. Now, let me make sure you understand this. She's being trained. She's the participant, and they're bringing in people to train her, but she's a participant. But what she's noticing is that the trainer sometimes a little late, unorganized, does not know how to work the technology that's there. Okay, you got me? So then what she does is she get to the training early and asks the trainer, how can I help you? This is how I noticed you've been having problems with this particular piece of technology to show things on the screen. This is how you do that. I noticed that, hey, sometimes, you're trying to get the handouts together to hand them out. I can meet you here early. I can hand those out. I can do 2 or 3 things. Don't you know, by the end, after the end of the training, they came to her and said, look, the training was great. We think you can do the job. Do you want to teach the next session? Because she was looking and she recognized the opportunity that was there, that there was someone she could give something to, this particular trainer, to help them. And by her helping them, then the others in the organization were in the positions on another level, seeing her go get it, seeing her intention, seeing her aggressiveness, then they made her the trainer.
Yeah.
That's how you create an opportunity.
Yeah. Simone says, I think it's important when we sign that letter of offer, we remember we have committed to a contract and have a responsibility to fulfill it. After signing, they go into a drawer and gather dust. This or drawer probably. This is not always a conversation managers and or HR often have with people on a transparent level. And even if there's no signature on the letter, your signature, Simone, is your commitment to bringing your best game to whatever game you play. That's the only way you win, right? That's the only way you get to the championship round. That's the only way you get the badge, the brand presence, the reputation that your name means something. My dad always told me, you don't have anything in this world besides your name. So have a good name. And he said, it happens to be my name too. So you better go out there and have a good name. And so what he was telling me though was build a reputation that will never make you say, I'm holding my head in reproach. That's really what you're signing in the offer letter. You're telling somebody, I'm bringing the best of me to the organization. In return, I want the best of the organization. And that's really the only way that you can command it. If you're bringing the best of you, as Dwayne is telling you, take advantage of those opportunities. That would have seemed a small opportunity to some people, Dwayne, but that was big, saying, hey, I see that this is your problem. This is your pain point, and I'm gonna relieve it. And that's what business people do all day long. Some of them make billions of dollars solve people's problems. And if you just want 25,000, you might say, how can I solve the pain points of this organization? So I think that was brilliant. I also want to welcome Valencia Etner, who is a pastor in Houston, Texas. Thank you for joining us. Inspiring people to go inspire of their talent and make it stand out. Thank you for that, Simone. I appreciate it. We're talking with Dwayne Bennett, who is a certified Maxwell coach, who is a career transformation coach. He is doing so much phenomenal work. And I want to pivot here. I want you to tell us about this new online platform, if you will share some of that with us, because I think it is amazing.
All right.
Share some of that with us.
I'm so excited about that. Thank you for this. Now, we're talking to professionals in general, but then in every organization, in every industry, and every program, there's always niche areas. So the information that we're giving today, every professional can use it, but there is a little slant towards it because we want to uplift Black professionals. So because I saw that was a niche in the marketplace, not only from a standpoint of to be able to help Black professionals, but that's part of my heart and that's part of what I want to do. Because what happened was year before last, I was in 3 different companies, right? Remember, I'm an international trainer, I'm a national speaker, and a coach and a corporate trainer. So I go into corporate America to different organizations to bring these skills. 3 different companies I was in the year before the pandemic, year before COVID. I had Black professionals come to me and they asked me this question because I teach this concept to leaders, and it's for everyone, that you don't need to continue to make a to-do list. As a leader, you need to make a stop doing list. Because leaders are doing too much. You got to pull some stuff off your plate, do some delegation, and then you focus on the things that you do best. So we're talking about leadership. How do I get my leadership to a next level? I do a stop doing list, stop doing so many things as opposed to adding things, and then I can focus on my leadership and the things I need to do and take it to the next level. So that's what the concept I was teaching. In each one of these circumstances, 3 different ones, a Black professional came up to me and said, hey, we've been taught you got to work twice as hard, twice as long to get to the next level. Now, there is some validity to that, but we got to understand that we're in a new paradigm, and that came from 1900, 20, 30, 40, 50, maybe in the 60, maybe in the 70, maybe in the 90, but we're in the 2000s. So what people want now is, and companies want is the idea, right? The value, right? The change. So you can have one idea that don't take you to work 70 hours that could change the culture. They could change the company. They could change the direction and add value. That's not how it works if it's already inside of you. So you lean into that passion, you lean into your talent, you lean into what you do better. That's what I want us to do. Don't lean into effort. Lean into your talent. Lean into your passion. Lean into you got a 4-year degree. It's a lot of stuff you can pull out of that. But matter of fact, These days, most Black professionals, no, we got a higher level degree. Most of us got masters. A lot of us got doctors these days. You got to lean into that. You don't put all that money into it. Lean into that, which don't require your effort because you already put the effort in, 6 years, 7 year effort. Now lean into that, bring value to the company from that aspect. And then what you want to do is position yourself so that people can be what? So you can be found, so you can be seen, so you can be heard. So you can be found, so you can be seen, so you can be heard. I'm doing a heavy lifting for you in this area by, here we go, developing and creating the Black Careers Matter Success Society. I said all that to get you right here to the Black Careers Matter Success Society. I'm doing a heavy lifting for you. What are you talking about, Mr. Bennett? You're doing a heavy lifting. I'm glad you asked me the question. Right? What I've done, I'm talking to experts like Mr. Marcus here, the HR passion guy. I'm taking that information, I'm putting it inside this online platform. So all you have to do is go to one place and get your HR connections. Meaning I have one module and one section called Who's Hiring Black. It's called Who's Hiring Black. And I've intentionally, here we go, reached out to at least within the last month, I think it's about 900 HR professionals that, here we go, that are working with companies that have at least a line in their company objectives for diversity, equity, inclusion. So the jobs that I'm going to have inside the site, at least it said, hey, we're focusing on diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's inside the site. That's one of the modules. I'm doing a heavy lifting for you. What are the jobs? I got them inside the site. I'm doing a heavy lifting for you because we've developed this model, what we call the career success cycle. Everyone, as they're in their career, they go through these cycles. I've used my research, I use my connections, and I use my personal experiences to come up with this career success cycle. We start with what? A future focus. Where you going, y'all? Where you going? Where you want to go? How much money you want to make? What type of job you got to have? You got to have that future focus. And then once you got that future focus, what's going to be the strategy to get you there? It's just not going to land in your lap. We've been talking about that. That's why we have this on Fridays a lot, to give you some strategies. Yeah. That's stage 2. Stage 3 is what's going to be your brand? How are you going to show up in the world? What value are you going to bring to this company? Stage 3. Stage 4 is now, how can I position myself, right, to be found, to be seen, and heard? You can have all the skills you want. You can have all the background you want. You can have all the certificates you want. But if you can't be found, so someone can see you, and then you get to that interview to be heard, you're not going to get there. And finally, we talk about implementation. That's the action. And no matter where you are in your career, you probably find yourself in one of these areas on this career cycle, and you keep cycling up. You keep cycling up. You keep cycling up. Y'all, I did the heavy lifting for you. I put it together, and in all of those sections, we had development, personal development. You got me coaching you. We got resources, the whole 9. But then that's not the end. And even within there too, this is going to be in there. This interview is going to be in there. So if your friends missed it, if you missed it and want to review it, get in on the site. You're going to get that. I'm not even finished. I'm doing a heavy lifting. And the reason why I want to emphasize I'm doing a heavy lifting for you is because you may not have the time to do all this research. You may not know how to connect. So you can't be on LinkedIn. You can't be all over the web 2 and 3 hours a week. I've done it for you. It's in there how to do it. It's within the site. But one of the most powerful aspects of this is we have a section where we have our own community. Now you can come in there. It's a safe space. You can have your questions answered 24/7. You can cry. You can laugh. You can do whatever you need to do. But it's a safe space that, since it's a member only, here we go, investment, y'all. Investment, you know what that means. Member only investment. You're investing in your career. Only the people inside the Black Careers Matter Success Society are in there. They're serious people. They're not in there wasting time. They ain't not messing around. They're in there. Mr. Mark, if you don't stop me, I'm going to keep talking about it. But this is so exciting that I'm bringing this to the marketplace. I'm doing a heavy lifting. And one of the last aspects of it, this is where he really wanted me to get to. I set it up till I got here. Within the site, we have a search engine within the site that if you put in branding, then every video or every piece of content related to branding comes up, and then it gives you a transcript of all the videos and all the information. Then it tells you where it is in the video and information. Then it tells you the time frame. So then you can do a deep dive. So if you need salary negotiation, you put salary negotiation in, and then you got all of these videos that come up with salary negotiation in it. Then you can do a deep dive in there, and then you don't have to go outside anywhere you have to go.
That's the part I love.
Heavy listening. Go ahead.
That's the part I love. You're right. You set it up great. I love that part because people are always asking for advice and wanting more and go deeper and deeper and deeper. And if they can get that content in one place and then formulate any questions that they might have about the content, that makes it, the heavy lifting is done again for anybody that's coaching or anybody that's providing that type of content to someone. If you give them the deep dive, then they can really drill down to the questions that they really need to ask.
Yeah.
I want to go to the comments. We're talking to Dwayne Bennett. As you can see, he is a transformational coach. And so I want you to follow him on LinkedIn to ensure that you're a part of this success society. Ramona Cox is saying she has a career question.
Okay.
I see stats about how women are often intimidated by positions they only have a few qualifications for. Men will apply if they qualify or not. Why is it? Why is that? And how can women be more confident in going for those top positions? And just so you know, Ramona, I was saying the exact same thing before we went live to Dwayne. Black people in general have this apprehension about going for stuff. I tell people, if you have 60% of the qualifications, apply.
Yeah.
If you have 85% and any of the preferreds, be ready to negotiate a higher salary.
Wow.
Why? Because at 60%, you might not have the years of experience that they need, but are you coachable? Are you trainable? Is it a skill where you can learn? Now, if it's a neurosurgeon, you can't have 60%, right?
Yes, sir.
Something where there's some latitude in how you can adopt principles of lean, or you can adopt some aspect of a business, and you are coachable and trainable, they'll take that 60% and put you on a success track. A good company will, and they will include in that package a good portfolio of learning and development opportunities to grow you in the areas where you don't quite have 80 plus.
Right.
But you have to, for yourself, have some affirmations to say to yourself. Those inner voices that are talking to you, Sean Robinson posted earlier, stop listening to those inner critics. That inner voice that's telling you you're not qualified, you got to summons the energy to speak back to it and say, why am I not qualified?
Right.
You're having some dialogue with yourself, because if you're not convinced, you're not going to convince anybody else. You got to be convinced that you have the goods. You have what it takes to be successful, woman or man. And we know that there is an inequity. We were talking before we came on. God bless them. They're shouting out for the Asians, but we're not done talking about the inequities for African Americans. I'm shouting out for Asians, but don't get it twisted. There's still great inequities for African Americans.
Right.
And so you got to stand in the truth, knowing that you are worth it. You are worthy to go for that position where you have 60%. Apply.
That's it.
Just apply. You got to start speaking back to that part of you that says, I shouldn't be in the room. That imposter syndrome. I shouldn't be there. Yes, you should, but you have to have some dialogue and discourse with yourself. You have to tell yourself, yes, I am. Or at least ask yourself, now, why are you thinking that? Why do you think you're not qualified? Start to write it down. I don't think I'm qualified because I've never been exposed to it. Well, exposure is something we can work on. You hear Dwayne saying you got to position yourself to be seen. So, okay, exposure is not going to keep me back. I'm going to work on exposure. You got to start to tell yourself, I'm worthy, I'm of value. Because if you're waiting for somebody just to tell it to you, most people are going to repeat about you what you believe about you.
Whoa. Yeah, that's true. I love it. I love it.
Most people are going to repeat about you what you believe, because what you believe is what you're going to live.
That's right.
And that's what people are convinced by. What's at the heart of Marcus Holmes? Does he believe in himself? Is he really an HR passion guy? Because if I don't live it, they're not going to believe it.
That's it.
People repeat back to you what you show them you are.
I love that one. I'm gonna have to take
Ramona, go out there and show them that women are as qualified as men, and Black people are as qualified as white people or Asian people or whatever, right? but you got to believe it and you got to live it out in order for someone else to speak it back to you.
Right. And you know, I'm just going to piggyback on that because I'm not saying anything better, but I'm saying something that supplements what he said. And this is the key, y'all. And when I say y'all, because I want you to know I'm talking to you. All right. I know it's not good English, but I want to get your attention when I say y'all. You have to take personal development seriously. You have to, because this is the key. When you get a job, that's the floor. They're just hiring you for the floor. So you can stay on the floor, right? You don't have, you can stay on the floor. They're gonna pay you on the floor. They're not gonna give you a lot of money for the floor. They got, you can stay on the floor. But you got to understand that's the floor. If you want to go further, then you have to get better. So we have to take this personal development piece very, very serious. And again, I'm just giving you transparency. I picked up on it late. If that manager never pulled me and jerked me, I would have never gone to any of these free trainings that I had at the company. Never would have done it because no one told me. And now that I know how important it is, let me give you an example. I was talking to a corporate exec, and he was up. He's frustrated and he's upset, and he don't know how to get along with his manager. Don't know how to get it with his boss. And this is what we figured out. See, the managers, the supervisors, the C-suite people know what's happening. The company is paying for their personal development. So they go away for retreats. They go to these meetings. They got, here we go, these cutting edge concepts. They're speaking a different language. Then they come back, talk to you. You don't know what they're talking about. You don't know what they're talking about because they've elevated. They've gone to another place. And one, if they presented the opportunity for you and you didn't take it, that's on you. But here we go. Most of the time in corporate America, they're not paying for the personal development a lot like you should. So now you have to invest in yourself. So when they come back and talk about the 15 it's disputable laws of growth, you're like, what is that? What is the 15 laws of growth? When they talk about the 21 irreplaceable laws of leadership, like, what is that? What are they talking about? When they're talking about the growth mindset, you're like, what is that? What are they talking about? They've got this personal development. So in order for you to keep up, right, here we go, to be found, to be seen, be heard, you got to speak the language. We can speak code switching all we want to. We can speak imposter syndrome all we want to. We can speak DEI all we want to. They ain't hear that. But when you talk to them about a strategy that's developed based on what you've learned in your own personal development, then there's, oh, okay, they start to see you. Then when you pull them aside and say, I can fix this particular problem or solution, then they start to hear you. And then now they found you, they seen you, hear you. Now, here we go. How did I position myself to get that $20,000 in 30 days when they said the money was there? Because I had positioned myself through personal development, through having the years in, to having the certifications in to get there. And then the other piece was, here we go, confidence comes from, and people think confidence is just something that people have. Some people just have it. It's misplaced. But you want me to tell you where confidence comes from? Especially as a professional speaker from that standpoint? I know you do. Yes, it's preparation. It's preparation. So the reason we don't, we sometimes you apply for jobs, you don't get them. And you can be honest, if you don't have this 60%, like you said, what are you applying for? Then you get hit upside the head a couple of times, then you lose whatever confidence you may have, then you don't apply. Got an HR guy who works in HR. 60%, go for it. Well, how do you make yourself go for it? Be prepared. Have the certificate. Have the skills. Have the paperwork. Every time you do a project at work, have it, because then the confidence comes from your preparation. That's where it comes from. And then the thing is, then you got to be intentional about going for it. He told you, apply. He said, I just learned something today. He said, you got 85%, right? Be ready to negotiate. So what does that mean? If you want to negotiate confidently, then you got to do your research. How much should this job pay me? How much is my value? Then you can go in there, here you go, with confidence and talk about the numbers. But if you're not prepared, if you're not for the interview, remember I told you, know some stuff about the company, ask some questions. Most people, I talked to a partner of mine yesterday, and this he was talking about 30 years ago when he had to apply for different positions. He was like, I had interviewed so much. He's like, I knew when I went into an interview, I was ready for the questions. I know how to present the strengths, the weaknesses. I know how to sit up. You see, I'm sitting up now. You know, I look the person in the eye. He said I had prepared so much by taking so many interviews that my confidence was sky high. So then it's just a matter, here we go, performing. So when we talk about confidence, don't listen. Well, you can listen to other people, but a lot of it is not about what you have inside of you. It's about being prepared. That's where the confidence comes from. I can talk to you like I talk to you today because I'm not a spring chicken. You see it, just peeking out at you, right? I'm not a spring chicken. This is not my first rodeo. I've been around, and what I'm talking about is because what I know is to be true. So I can talk to you about it confidently. And if you notice too, is I'm glad to learn because I'm asking questions. Here we go. From HR professional, he's here, he's doing it. So the confidence part is, is inequities. Okay, we got that. They don't treat us right. Oh, we got that. Oh, we don't make as much. We got that. But because of that, you're not going to go for it. You're not going to get there. And that's why I developed the part within my online community. So you can really see, I mean, people do get promoted. I'm not trying to tell you, people do get promoted. People do make good money. People do get opportunities. But because they're so few and far between, you don't see them all the time. And you're not in a community whereby you can feed off of that. Here we go. This is one of the most terrifying things in corporate America is the loneliness we feel, the isolation we feel, that I'm the only one. Because, and I want to change your mindset. That's what the HR guys, I want to change your mindset. When you feel isolation, when you feel like you're the only one, you feel like nobody there, here you go. I hope you get this. That's because you've ascended. You've ascended.
Right.
You're higher. You've gone to another level. You're going up in corporate America. You don't see a lot of us. You get the promotion, you're making the money. So you can feel isolated and you can feel by yourself and you can feel alone. But I want to shift your mindset. That's a good thing because you're on another level. Then when you get there on another level, that's not mean I take it away, but you think, you know what? Yeah, he's right. Nobody's around because I know it. Still today, when I even go to corporate America to teach and train, I'm the only brother in there. Because I'm on a level, because even over here, you can't see it. You know, when I go to the Department of Defense and things of that nature, and Starbucks, when I go to Federal Reserve, on certain levels, you're not going to see many of us. But I just want you to change your mindset. That's what HR Passion guy told you to do. Change your mindset to understand that, hey, if you can reframe something in your life, then you can turn a negative into a positive.
Yeah. And I just want to add to that for Ramona. You got to remember, there, as he said, there are definitely inequities, definitely. But one of the, I think, advantages that a lot of women have, particularly Black women, is emotional intelligence.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
And if you plug into that, tap into that, it can be the game changer for you getting in the door versus a man getting in the door, because what people are looking for is emotional development, emotional intelligence in leadership. And so, as you heard Dwayne say, that everybody's looking for leadership now, and really great leaders have high emotional intelligence. And studies show that women have more emotional intelligence than men. Sorry, fellas, it's the truth. But that is a game changer, and you got to leverage that. You got to leverage that. So where you are able to keep your cool, where you're able to read a room and you understand, you have a great social awareness and social intelligence, those are key to being able to highlight where you're going up against men, and you will be in some of these higher positions. Just like Dwayne or I, we would be going against Caucasian men the higher up we go, right? You start to see less color, unfortunately. So you got to be mindful of what's my competitive edge when I'm going in that room versus other candidates traditionally as well. Because you're right, there is a mindset about Black people or women. There are biases that people are aware that they have in the C-suite, but you have to dispel them with your competitive edge. And I think for a lot of African-American women who juggle families and businesses and all kind of things, have developed some really keen emotional intelligence, and you can use that as an advantage.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, that's awesome.
Tell us, Dwayne, the books that you're an author of. We got to get your information so that people who want to have you as a one-on-one coach, how can they do that, or how can they join the Success Society? I want to give you the opportunity to tell us a little bit more about the opportunities to connect with you and get our best selves together.
Good. All right. The easiest way, and from this is like my jumping off point. is my general website, which is www.dwaynebennett.com. That's where you can get bio information. There's a coaching link for career strategy sessions you can get. You can click on that. That gets you there. Okay. www.dwaynebennett.com. I'll give you a couple ways. Is it okay? I'll give them a couple different ways to contact me.
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay. Second of all, and this is a second, LinkedIn. I have made it my purpose this year to master LinkedIn, connecting, getting information to the right people, putting jobs out there, reaching out. And let me tell y'all, I always like to give examples that I know what I'm talking about. The reason I know what I'm talking about when it comes to LinkedIn, that's how he found me. Because I positioned myself to what? To be found, to be seen, and now you're hearing me. So I know how to work that. So you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, straight up my name, Dwayne Bennett. I'll connect with you. I'll talk to you, answer your questions. All right. Now, if you want to be a part of the Success Society, the Black Careers Matter Success Society, this is awesome. Now, we haven't officially launched, but you can get in on at a lower investment into your career if you reach out to me directly through LinkedIn, because I'm going to do a special thing for everyone that's on here, or maybe even on Facebook. I'm going to get you in the society with a lower investment, because we haven't officially opened all the doors. But by being intentional, by being aggressive, if you want to get on in there, let me know and I'll get you in there for a lower investment. All right. My thing is this: if investing in your career scares you, then this is where you're going to stay. All right. If every time you hear somebody ask you to invest in something, all right, let me say it like this. Every time somebody asks you to pay for something and you turn the other way, that's where you're going to stay. That's where you're going to stay. Let me just say about that. So you can invest in it. I'm going to do a career strategy session for you for free. And it's going to move the ball for you, give you the next step, but it's so much further you can go. So that's two ways, right? I gave you www.dwaynebennett.com. I gave you LinkedIn, and then to give you another way on social media, on Facebook. You can reach out to me that way. I've developed the page called Black Careers Matter, right? Get in on that. There's so much stuff up there now. You can jump in on that and get some things done, because I'm about giving. It only take you so far. You can reach me there. And then, let me see how many people we got on here. 6. Okay, so we don't have a whole lot of people there. So I'm feeling a little, I don't usually don't do this, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to give you an email address that I usually don't give out, that you can hit me there, because I want to serve your audience. Is that all right, HR guy?
That's fine. Absolutely.
All right, this is this email address. I know. Tell me where you came from, and I know it's from there. Here we go. It's Dwayne Bennett Helps. DWAYNE Bennett BENNETT Helps HELPS. Dwayne Bennett Helps at Gmail. If you hit me there, then I know you came from us in our discussion today. And we'll do some special things for you, because here you go. You're intentional about moving the ball in your career. He mentioned my book. I have a book called, here we go, Word to Winning, 7 Winning Ways to Your Personal Success. Now, this is a framework. Again, y'all, it's step by step. I'm doing all the heavy lifting. Meaning I'm going before you. I'm giving you everything I got. I'm breaking it down. I'm making it simple. I'm putting everything in one place for you, because here we go. The young lady that was at Biden's, I forgot her name, that did the poem, the young girl that did the poem. She pulled this line that I've been using, that she used, and she pulled it from the play Hamilton. And the line that she pulls is, history has its eye on you. History has its eye on you. So right now, while history has its eye on us, y'all, we got to go fast. This ain't the time to be laying back. This ain't the time to be fumbling around. This is not the time to be hesitating. We got to go fast, because with HR, I call you so many different things. Margaret, HR, Pastor guy, HR guy. You got so many names. But I'm talking about him whenever I mention. When we were talking earlier, it was about why history has its eye on us, while we got social injustice, we got Black Lives Matter. I created Black Careers Matter, while there's initiatives with diversity, equity, and inclusion. They're coming up out of the woodwork, while I'm Ramona, I'm telling you, Black women getting promoted faster in these positions than anybody. So you should have confidence in that. While everybody's getting promoted, all these positions, we got to move now. the light is going to fade. So we got to make our move now. I want to push you. I want to nudge you to stop laying back. If you've been laying back a year or two, a month, you got to go for it. Just don't get off of this. And let me coach you right now. When you finish today and get off of this live interview, take 15 minutes and sit down and write out 2 or 3 things that you got from this interview, and then act on them.
Mm-hmm.
Act on them. Put some action behind them. He didn't, HR Patch, he didn't do this just to do this. He loves you. He got your heart in his heart, his best intentions for you to move. So if you've been here for an hour, we've been going for an hour. I think we're going to wrap up. If you're going for an hour and then you don't take any action, then all of these questions, all the stuff you talk about is going to go in vain. But we need you to stay with us, and we need you to take action once you live. That's what a coach does. I'm nudging you. I'm pushing you. I want it so bad for you to take action, because I don't want nobody ever again to read my book. I don't like when people say this. Oh, that was nice. I read it. I want to hear that. What I want to hear is, I got in the Black Career Success Society, and when I left from my Career Success Fast, I moved. I took action. After I read this book, I moved and took action. I don't want to hear Miss Nice. I read it. I don't want to hear that anymore. We got to take action. We got to move. We got to get going. We got to keep pressing. If you don't stop me from talking, I'm going to keep talking. But we got to go, right, yo? We got to go. This ain't no joke. It's not a joke. It's opportunities out there. It's money out there. But only way we're going to do it is, you heard me say this word, is be intentional. And he's telling you. And I don't know if y'all know about his criteria. He's in HR right now. That's what he do right now. I mean, I wouldn't say you would listen to one or the other, but at least he's in HR right now. At least listen to both of us and take this advice. So I appreciate your time. I think we're getting ready to wrap up. I appreciate everybody that's listening. I'm open to stay here as long as you can to answer questions or whatever. But I just want to thank you all for listening to us, listening to me. I'm spitting. I'm embarrassing myself. I'm getting hot and sweaty, because all of that is because I want it so bad for you. I want it so bad for you. I want you to write me a testimonial. I want you to write me a letter saying, hey, one thing that I got from this interview, I moved on it. It made some progress. I was intentional about it. That's how bad I want it for you. I'm turning it back over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. And I think, Dwayne, first of all, thank you so much. You're a wealth of information, and you are a phenomenal brother. I appreciate the connection. But I'm going to have you back, because I wanted to have a question and answer where people can just come in and ask you questions and answers
Q&A
about some of these things, because we didn't get into some of the things like, all of those promotions in that short period of time. How did you do that? How do you move more quickly through organizations, and how do you go after what you want? Because those are some of the things I think that have traditionally held us back as African American people. Sometimes we just didn't think that we could. We didn't give ourselves permission. Nobody before us told us, go in there and ask for what you want. No one was giving us that advice. They said, like you said, they said, get you a degree in business, start you a business, or get you a good job, go to work every day, go on time, dress neat, be clean, speak and be personable, pray, keep your head down out of stuff, and you will ascend. They didn't tell us about the nuances of networking, about positioning yourself to be seen, to be heard. They didn't tell us about aligning yourself with, aligning your job opportunities rather with your authentic self. Okay, who am I authentically? Let me go look in that industry. That no one does that. Now we got professionals like you and Craig Turner and others that might be doing it some, but back in the day, I guess we'll call it back in the day, no one was telling us that. They were telling us, okay, get you a good job and stay there for 30 years, or get you a good job and get your gold watch. It was never, there are opportunities you got to look for.
That's right.
We just waited for our turn. People are standing in line waiting for their turn instead of figuring out, how can I get to the position that's going to help me leverage the best of myself, and then pour down to the people below me to leverage the best of them. Because that's what a good leader wants to do, wants to make leaders of himself or herself so that people can grow up, right? And so I think this is a wealth of gold. It's a pot of gold, really. And I'm hoping that you will come back and just do a session with us where we can just ask you questions. I'll invite people. Next Friday. There you go. We can do it. I'm gonna start publicizing it now, and so that people can come live on the screen and ask their questions with you face to face. I'm gonna tell them to send us their resumes too, so we can take a look at it and tell them, hey, maybe you need to do something different on your resume.
Yeah.
Or what's your elevator pitch? Maybe people need to get that together. What are you writing in your cover letter? I think it was good that you said, in this age of personalization, I don't want to see a cover letter that says, "Dear hiring manager." I want you to know who I am, right? Because when I see my name, I think you've done some research to find me, and it does something for my ego, right?
Yeah.
Somebody said, "Dear Mr. Holmes," they're like, "Okay, wait a minute now."
There you go.
Hello, Marcus. It's like, "Okay, wait a minute now. You done did some research. I read your article on this, or I saw your post on this, and I thought that engages draws that person in. They want to know more." So I think we have to help people with all of that information, and I would love to have you back to do that.
All right, let's do it. I'm excited.
All right, so we're going to have you back next Friday. I am, as Dwayne showed you, he's an author. I am an author too, and I am excited that my book is out. So I hope that you all will buy it. I will be on this evening from 6 to 8 on
Tell us the name.
Facebook.
You don't know how to promote, and tell us the name of your book.
Thank you so much. The Gratefulness Journey Every Day.
Yeah.
What are you doing in the next 30 days to transform your life? And so it is a personal account of my journey and some of my personal loss and how that has led me to a gratefulness journey. And in 3 steps, you can do it too in 30 days. So I'm going to share the link tonight where I will be on Facebook with the Lit Ring VIP Readers Group. I'll be doing a live session there. I'll be reading from some of my favorite books, some authors that I like, as well as telling you how this book came to be. So you can join me there.
Good.
And you can go on Amazon and get that book. It's available both ebook and paper book as available now on Amazon. And thank you for those of you that have already purchased. We're #1 in the short reads for self-help. So thank you for getting us to #1, but we can't stay there if you don't keep buying. So we're going to expand to more categories, but we need you to share and buy, and most importantly, write a review on Amazon. So I appreciate that. Dwayne Bennett, thank you so much for being with us. I feel better. I feel like I need another coaching session with you, sir.
Let's go. Let's go.
Your energy, your spirit, I think that, that's something that, even though I'm the HR passion guy, right? I'm getting passion from you. And like I said before we got on, the energy in which you communicate is something that I hope to add to my arsenal of tools. The way in which you, even in your writings, even when we were inboxing, the way that you were engaging me, you are a coach down in your soul, sir. You're a coach down in your soul. And you just have a way of saying, hey, let's do it. We can do it. You can do it. Keep going. And everybody needs that. That's why that's invaluable. That is invaluable to it. Everybody needs somebody to just say, keep going.
Yeah.
You can make it. You can do it.
That's it. I love it.
Valencia saying, yeah, your energy is contagious. See, I done got amped up. I normally try to keep it to an hour. We 9 after. I'm like, okay, we can do it because you have that energy about you.
He gone now, y'all. He gone. He won't stop. I love it.
Yeah, you have that energy about you. And when I find someone or something good, I love to share it. That's one of my favorites. I love to connect people to things that I think will help them. And I think, brother, you got something great going with your Success online platform and with your coaching. It is evident in how you present that you have something great to offer. So I want as many people as can next week to come back and join us at 12 o'clock noon. The 26th, that will be 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You can email me at mgrmarcus@hrpassion.com if you want us to take a look at your resume and maybe give you some tips. We may do this through, we'll go live, of course, but we may do it through Zoom where we can have more people in the room and we can bring them up to be able to, show their resume or get some quick one-on-one. Now, quick one-on-one. If you want to, you heard him, you got to invest in yourself if you want more of Dwayne's time now. But for a quick question or quick thing that you want to do, you've applied for that position. Now you don't know what to do next, right? You don't know how to leverage the internal network. Do you even know that there is one? Do you even know that inside of your organization, there is an unspoken network that you got to get into even if it's with people that maybe you've had run-ins. You got to
Thank you.
resolve run-ins. You got to find advocates and mentors so that your name is spoken, so that you're positioning yourself to be heard, right? So that they're not saying, well, I got a resume from so-and-so, but I never heard of him. He's been here 3 years. You don't want that to be said about you. You want people saying your name in the network if you're trying to move within your organization. So Dwayne will be back to help us with that, back to help us with that personalization, okay? You send out 20,000 resumes, but the companies that you really want to go to, you got to find out the name of that HR person. You got to find out the name of the hiring manager and stop sending that blind letter to whom it may concern. No more to whom it may concern. No more dear hiring manager. Find out who that person is. So we want to help you do that. Join us next week. I am Marcus Holmes, the HR Passion Guy. This is Dwayne Bennett. We'll see you next Friday right here on Passion Fridays. It's been a great session. And if you think it was great, you should click share right now. Tag 5 of your closest Facebook friends, 5 of your more popular Facebook friends on LinkedIn. Tag 5 of your connections and 5 people that you wish you were connected to, and show them that this is some great content that they want to share widely. Have a great day and weekend.
All right. Thank you so much. Y'all enjoy your day.